Greetings everyone, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the Drawpile screen. Hey everybody, I just realized I have the wrong capture up, but that's okay, it won't take but a second to fix it. If you're new here, I am AIM, former Duke of the Netherworld. Now I have a nice 9 to 5, and by nice I mean annoying. So I take the edge off from that by doing a little VTubing. Joining me today I have BlueStar Ubu, and I will let him introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Ubu, but you can call me BlueStar Ubu because it sounds cooler. And I'm just a dude who happens to be from space, who also likes to do a VTubing. I like to do a little streaming as a character, hence the VTubing. And I like to draw, I like to game, I like to be epic gamer man, I like to sing, I like to do a lot of things. But today we're drawing, which is why I'm here.
Alrighty. So yeah, I've been watching Ubu for a while, and I'm happy to have him here on the stream with me. If you look in the background, we've actually already done quite a lot of doodling ourselves. So you've got a very full canvas here with me and Ubu and several recognizable Sonic characters, including Theodore Roosevelt.
I don't see Theodore Roosevelt, but I do see a very strapping Eggman up there in the corner.
Right. All right.
Who just happens to look like a U.S. president.
right. A striking resemblance. All right. So, anyways, I am going to go ahead and hide this canvas, but I'll post it up later. Give me one moment.
Sounds good. Here's me.
All right. So I'm inserting 2 more layers. There we go. And as for anyone who's watched one of these draw piles before, you probably know that I do have a secret theme I usually give to my guests here. So I'm going to present that theme to you. If you don't like it, you get a veto, so you get to choose a different one.
Okay.
So I was thinking, one of our favorite things to do together is play Smash, and I was thinking maybe we could draw some Smash-related stuff. Because
sounds good to me.
Yeah. That gives us plenty of options in terms of things we might draw.
Yeah.
A roster of over 30 characters will do that too.
Yeah, a roster of over 60 characters will do
Golly.
that. A roster of over...
I completely undershot that.
Yeah, I want to say that they've reached 80 with like the
Golly. Man.
the most recent DLC. So,
jeez Louise, I always forget how many characters are in Smash.
Oh yeah, there's more than 30.
I remember when it was just 12 characters.
Yeah, those were the days. I'm just kidding. I'm very happy with a roster of 80. Gives me a lot of things to complain about.
Okay.
Alright, I'll start up here with the hardest character to draw.
I see. I bet I have a guess as to who it is.
Okay, go ahead and guess.
Kirby.
Hey, yes, you're correct.
Sorry for the spoilers, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I opened the door for you to spoil things, but I mean, I had like a 1 in 80 chance of you getting it right. So
nobody else is quite. I guess it could have been Jigglypuff. It could have been Jigglypuff.
Oh, maybe I could. I'll draw Jigglypuff. I got a couple of references in my room here. I'll just look behind me awkwardly.
Gotcha.
Alright, so don't forget the hair flip deal. A little hair flip. Cool. Sorry if you hear people and dogs and birds in the background. I do live with animals and humans, so...
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not hearing too much myself.
Good. I just wanted to preface in case you do.
Sure. And of course, as always, if there are any audio problems anyone picks up, just let me know and I'll fiddle around with stuff.
Or let me know and I can relay it to him.
That's it. Right. That would also be an option. If for some reason you're just shy and don't want to talk to me.
I'm timid around my favorite VTuber. That Ubu, on the other hand, is not my favorite VTuber, so...
Let's hope that doesn't happen. Oh,
And now color it
it's a
in.
pretty good looking Jigglypuff.
Thank you, thank you.
Hmm.
And I'll do the unthinkable and not draw Jigglypuff with the microphone.
I see. Bold take.
What, are you not a 90s kid, Ubu? Jigglypuff wasn't your favorite Pokemon character? Okay, fine. Microphone.
It's all up to
There.
you. I see.
Alright, next. Let's look up the whole roster. Let's see. Oh, is my mouse going to be stupid? There we go.
You know, it was always a little weird to me. Jigglypuff had a pin inside that microphone. And you would think that does something to the acoustic. I mean, like, there's got to be some sort of, like, batteries or, like, electricity in there, and it just seems strange that there's space for a pin in there.
Yeah, Jigglypuff had, like, a neat little invention, and they never even tapped into it for, like, in-game mechanics or anything. Oh, I know who to draw. Don't worry.
Oh, I see.
Let's find a good screenshot to use. Okay, here we go. On the off chance my little brother's watching, this one's for you. Honestly, a strangely hype reveal for me.
I see. I can already guess who this one is just from the square shape.
Yeah.
This must be Mr. Minecraft himself.
I thought you were about to say Mr. Mime. I was like, I wish.
Significantly rounder.
Yeah. There we go.
Gotcha.
Do a little hatch coloring, because I don't feel like doing actual coloring right now.
Perfectly fair.
Alright, so there's the hair. And then his eyes are just kind of like... This isn't gonna look good. I already know it. There we go. And he's got... Okay, here's a good question for you. I don't know where you lie on this debate. The thing under his eyes, is that a mouth or a nose?
I would have figured a mouth. What do you think?
Yeah. I can't see anything other than it being a nose. And like and the like telephone shaped thing on the bottom of his head, it always has looked like a very goofy mouth to me.
I see. Huh, I never thought of that. Also, hey Ray, good to see you.
What up?
Alright. Anybody who knows me in Smash knows that I love to play D2D.
Oh, yes.
Unfortunately, he's a little trickier to draw than I thought, but that's okay.
I'll have to try. I used to draw him every once in a while. I loved me some Kirby back in the day.
Nice.
I still do. I just don't play it as much.
Yeah, I got you.
The newest one for Switch was a little underwhelming to me, so I ended up selling it.
Yeah, I got you. Did you play when they did all those expansions, or was it before those?
It was before Endearing. Like the extra characters were cool. It was just it didn't feel like more content so much as just like the same content, but now I'm playing as Marks.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like,
which is cool. Like, the characters they added were awesome. It was just they added awesome characters to a game that was a little bare bones, I suppose.
Yeah, I understand. I think too that if I had played it, just the addition of new characters probably wouldn't have really made that much of a difference to me.
Yeah,
it's
that's how I felt.
Nice to have, but it's kind of the same way that anybody who's not into Smash now, if they're going to try to add characters to like draw those people in, I mean, if you weren't going to be into it after 80 characters, then you're probably not getting into it again.
I guess to play devil's advocate, like just the amount of detail they put in, like I guess the characters in Star Allies are pretty detailed, But on the flip side, there wasn't like a stage and music tracks and like a spirit board and like just they put in so much detail with Smash Brothers. Like, they have to do a whole presentation so that the dum-dums who are watching don't get confused once the character comes out, I guess. I don't know why they do that. Like, explain the entire character in one go. Like, just let me figure it out myself. Sheesh.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. There's a lot to Smash other than actually playing Smash. Like, just in terms of, like, the fan stuff, the Easter eggs, the all that kind of junk that I think a lot of people get into. Just it's something that makes it a game that casual people are interested in. And I'm pretty much a casual person.
No, I think you're kind of in the middle, like I am.
I got you. Whatever that middle ground is.
Yeah, like I would by no means dedicate like playing competitively, but I also don't like to play with items on. Yeah, like back in the day, I knew someone who like didn't care about Smash Brothers at all, but like he came over to my house, was like, "Wait on," or he didn't say "wait on." We don't live in Britain. I don't. He said, "Hold on, is that Solid Snake?" And I was like, "That's the only character here I don't care about, but you seem interested, so cool." Yeah, like that kind of thing happens all the time, and there are people who are like, "Dude, what? But what if they put in like Doom Guy? Just these demographics that don't cross over with Smash Brothers at all." People more or less would like that character, regardless.
That's true.
But yeah, and for better or worse, that's been one thing interesting about Smash Ultimate is just the wide variety of randos they put in.
Yeah, for sure.
I know most people would say it's for better. I know I'm kind of the odd one out there. All right, time for me to try DDD. It's been a while, but I did, like I say, used to draw Kirby characters all the time in middle school.
I see. It's time to clobber that there Kirby.
Time to clobber that there Kirby!
There you go. That was a good deed. Good deed.
I wish they'd put me in Smash Brothers, sire. You shut up, boy!
You have clearly practiced your Kirby vocal impressions.
Very cool. Alright, gotta give him his weird little Santa hat. I think it's funny that he's dressed like Santa.
Yeah.
But he's so greedy.
It's true. He's inverse Santa.
Yeah, he's Krampus.
Exactly. Now that was his secret identity all along. It's all been a metaphor.
If you're naughty, King DDD will come and steal your food.
That's right. I do love those like charts you see there that point out like you have DD who just wants to like steal all the food, and then you have all the other bad guys who are like, I'm gonna trap everybody inside like an eternal nightmare and all this other stuff. DD's just like, nah, I want everybody's food.
Yeah, the series escalated pretty quickly. The first game was Stop the Mischievous King ? Who wants to eat the food, and then the second one is the Nightmare Dimension portal is opening up. Kirby's got to stop it before it's too late.
You're right. Kirby really does it all. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, poor kid can't catch a break.
So let's see.
Alright, give him his Santaman jacket.
Nice.
And, the most important part of Santa, as we all know, is the belly warmer.
That's true, yeah. That's something Santa definitely has.
Can't spell Santa without belly warmer.
That's right.
There you go. And then a little zigzag pattern there. Make sure to go outside of the lines just like me. Good job. And then he's got like his traditional Japanese garb under the belly warmer,
Yes.
as Santa is wont to do.
Right. His the way he's dressed has always reminded me a little bit of Mystic Adventure Goemon. Just because there's a lot of like traditional Japanese type clothing in that game, and I feel like it was intended to come somewhere from around there, although I couldn't tell you exactly what.
Aim, you need to know the specific type of Santa jacket that this penguin is wearing,
right.
or you're not a real fan.
He's clearly some sort of nobility there. A king, perhaps.
Maybe, possibly. A Santa.
Right.
You know what? We'll give him a lightsaber.
Nice. Yeah, items are on.
Oh, yeah. I need a beam sword to climb that there, Kirby.
Right.
Perfect.
Looks good to me.
Don't pay no attention to his broken wrist. It's no big deal.
Right.
Alright, who else are we going to draw?
So I'm going to draw King Dedede. Perhaps I will also draw the other resident king of... oh, wait, there's two kings. At least
the other.
Well, I'll draw one of the two other kings of Smash.
Alright. I anticipate who that ends up being, but I have a guess. Probably the one that starts with King.
That's true.
I'll draw... I already drew a DLC character. Let's draw... Do you have anyone you'd like to see me draw?
Let's see. Who would be good for who to draw? How about... How about Meta Knight?
Okay.
Meta Knight's my brother's favorite character.
Meta Knight was my favorite character back in the day. So happy when they put him in Brawl.
Yeah. Those were good days.
Those were the days.
I've talked about it before, but there was a period of time where I was like, every time they would make a new Smash, I'd be like, man, I really hope this character gets in. And every person that I requested, like one per game, they would get in. So
nice.
So it was like one year they added Dedede, and then the next year they added... actually, I can't quite remember the order, but Palutena, Isabelle, and Dedede were all kind of that way. Like, me saying maybe they should add this person, and then suddenly they just added it.
Yeah, I didn't really get into the I wish X character got into Smash until Smash 4, which is probably the game... I think... Yeah, I guess they added Little Mac in Smash 4, but he was like the only person I wanted that they added.
I see.
Yeah, like... Let's see. Let's look at the list of who all they added in Wii U and 3DS.
Sure.
Okay, Villager I was happy about. Mega Man was cool. Wii Fit Trainer I got a laugh out of, and I was like, I get it. It's Wii Fit. That sold like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Rosalina, I was just kind of like, at first I was like, oh, cool. But then as time went on, I was just like, I mean, I guess Mario Galaxy's cool. I mean, it is, but, you know.
It's funny. I own Mario Galaxy as part of that like trilogy thing they released, and I've still yet to play it.
You should.
Yep.
It's fun.
One of these days.
I will always sing the praises of 3D Mario, though.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for it, because it's fun.
Gotcha.
So yeah, Rosalina and Luma, I was just like, okay, cool. Little Mac I was very excited for. I actively wanted Little Mac, like I said. The only character I did actively want that got in. Greninja, at the time, I was still a I don't. I mean, I was an adult when this game came out, but I was a younger adult, so I was still a child in many ways. And so I was like, "Oh, cool, new Pokemon." But as time's gone on, I'm just like, I'm so sick. I'm so sick, not stick. I'm so sick of all the starters that they keep putting in.
I see.
Now I know you said you like Palutena.
But I'm just a huge Kid Icarus fan. That's the main.
Well, the funny, I guess, like, I love Kid Icarus Uprising, and like it was my favorite game for a while, like complete favorite game. But they added so much between like Smash Wii U and 3DS. They added so much Kid Icarus stuff that I was like, listen, this is a good game, yes. Please, let's keep in mind it's Kid Icarus. It's not a very popular series.
I suppose you're right.
It was like in between the one thing that like baffled me was between Brawl and Wii U and 3DS, Donkey Kong Country saw like a completely new revival, and they got no new characters. There was no K. Rool, there was no Dixie Kong, no Cranky Kong, nothing like that. Kid Icarus Uprising got a single game that's probably never going to get a sequel, and it got 2 new characters.
Right.
It's like, I get it. He made Uprising. He's happy about his new baby, but sheesh.
Yeah. That's fair. I too would appreciate a new Donkey Kong character at some period.
It is kind of crazy to think that we're like 5 games in and Dixie Kong hasn't happened, but there's a couple characters like that.
True.
Anytime I talk to people about Smash Brothers, I inevitably gravitate to we're 5 games in and the like villain representation for one of Nintendo's biggest franchises is still a Captain Falcon clone.
Fair. Oh, Ganondorf.
Yeah.
What a man! I'm terrible with Ganondorf, but every time I play, I have to play Ganondorf at least once because it's so much fun to try.
Yeah, it's like Captain Falcon. Like it. Imagine Captain Falcon, but old. Like it's kind of fun.
That's true. But then I really Captain Falcon's the same way. I like to try to play him, even though I'm terrible with him.
I love playing as Captain Falcon.
Yeah, it's like being at 2 times speed playing him versus any other kid.
Yeah.
Nice stuff.
Now, as fun as it is to play as Captain Falcon, playing as Sonic is a little maddening.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe a little too fast there. Unfortunately. Okay, I realized that I have made... Until I give this guy a proper nose, he's just going to look like a duck, see?
Alright, let's see. Let's zoom out and see what you're working on. Oh.
He needs at least a little bit of a nose, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, it's coming along.
Yeah.
Even as a duck, he looks like a very King K. Rool duck.
That's true.
There we go.
I've always had a difficult time with snouts for some reason.
Yeah. I get that. And I know how to draw this sword by heart. It's got the little pauldrons coming off of it for some reason.
Gotcha. Alright. Now why don't we do a little bit of color on him too?
Nice.
That should be fun. Let's... So I have a question. You know that that new thing that's going around about that Nickelodeon version of Smash? What is your thoughts on that? Did you ever watch Nickelodeon cartoons or anything?
Yes, I did.
Gotcha.
I watched a lot of Nick growing up. Yeah, I think it looks interesting. As far as like legitimate criticisms go, I haven't seen any clips with like voice acting and
You know,
characters.
the weirdest thing about that is they already announced they aren't going to have like the original voice actors, and that seems to translate to there might not be any voice acting, which is very strange.
That, I mean, it's kind of saying it's a missed opportunity is kind of like an understatement.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of egregious. A lot of what we know about these characters is the voice. I'd mentioned it before in one of my streams. Like, I kind of understand, Nigel Thornberry. Like, Tim Curry isn't like in the best condition of his life right now. But even then, you could like surely reuse clips from the show or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like, I mean, they gotta have some kind of voices on there, because if you try to imagine a Smash match without anybody saying anything, it's almost kind of difficult.
Yeah, I mean, playing as Isabel's kind of weird because she doesn't do like talk. Imagine every character like that.
Right. All she does is, her Animal Crossing gibberish.
No, like that's the thing is she doesn't do that in Smash Brothers.
Oh, really? Not at all?
Yeah, she's just completely quiet.
Huh. I don't think I ever noticed that.
I did. I know who we're going to draw next. Let's pull up the big boy himself.
Gotcha.
All right. Now, this is a character kind of outside my artistic wheelhouse, but we're going to try it anyway.
Go for it.
Thank you.
Man, I don't know what it is about King K. Rool, but I have a really hard time playing against anybody who's playing King K. Rool.
It's because he's epic.
He's a menace, is what he is.
He's an epic menace. We can meet in the middle.
That's true. That we can.
So far, I'm really happy with how this is turning out, but to be fair, I've only just started.
See. Is it Ridley?
I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
Because when I first saw that little point, I thought maybe it's Falco, but then the rest
the big boy himself, a character I've never talked about.
There you go. I missed that part.
Yeah, I literally called him the big boy. He's got like some weird isopod head thing going on.
Yeah, that's
Falco, of course. Now how am I going to do this mouth here?
Are you stoked for the new Metroid Dread?
Yes!
Nice.
Absolutely I am.
Cool.
They released a new trailer like yesterday, I think, and I posted about it. Typically, when I tweet about like video game stuff I'm excited about, doesn't get a lot of engagement. I don't care. I'm excited about Metroid Dread so much.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like seeing my childhood return, seeing just like a new 2D Metroid game.
Yeah, I got you. Of course, my history with the Metroid series is pretty spotty. I have not done a whole lot of I've not played a whole lot of them. I think it's only been like what have I played? Fiddling around with some of the oldest ones on like what was it, the Super Nintendo?
Oh, Super Metroid.
Yeah. But it was too hard for me as a kid, and I haven't tried again as an adult.
Oh, I implore you! Metroid is such a satisfying game to play.
Yeah, I guess.
My first Metroid. I have a hard time remembering which I played first. I think I played the original Metroid. It got ported to the Game Boy Advance, and I got that. And you know, that's a good place to start, but there are much better games in the series than the original. And then I got Metroid Fusion, and I really liked that game. And then I borrowed Zero Mission from a friend. It was like, oh my gosh, I thought the original Metroid was awesome. This is amazing. And whew, it was just... It's hard to... I mean, well, it's easy. I was going to say it's hard to make a bad Metroid game. Apparently it's not. But the people who work on it know what they're doing, and I love it. It's great. Sure. Okay, maybe his nose is a bit too big, though. Gotcha. No big nose for Ridley. He's not a cartoon character.
Right. Serious business.
Yeah, he's a very serious business character. Yeah, historically, I've had a lot of trouble drawing Ridley, but to be fair, I was like trying to draw him in high school, back when I didn't really understand art that well.
I see, yes. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. They have not confirmed any form of Ridley for the new game, have they?
They haven't, but if it'll... Like, the last game that came out was Samus Returns for the 3DS.
Wow.
And spoilers, even though that was a remake for one of the few games Ridley doesn't appear in, they put him in as the final boss. So, I think the Metroid team knows that Ridley's a fan favorite, so they just kind of shoehorn him in wherever they can. Mm. And I see people online who are like, enough with the Ridley. Like, what is he doing here? He's supposed to be dead. Well... I'm like, heck yeah, more Ridley. Anytime they add Ridley, I'm happy. Ridley was like one of my favorite characters growing up. Yeah. He's just so unnecessarily over the top evil. And I like those kinds of characters that are just, you know, it's not necessarily that I resonate with them so much as just they're a caricature, I guess.
Gotcha. Man, beating your Ridley, I've said this before, is still one of my white whales. I really want to do it at some point.
No, Ridley's such a fun character to play as. So, with every time I put in Smash Brothers into the Switch, I get a little more practice with him.
I see. Yeah, he's a fun one.
Yeah. It's like playing as a boss battle. It's like what they should have done with Ganondorf, but didn't. Obviously.
You know, it's funny. Zelda is another series I don't have as much experience with as I'd like. I have a pretty bad history of trying to play them and then like quitting at some puzzle or another.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, honestly.
Yeah, so I've never actually made it to a version of Ganondorf before. So I don't really know what he's supposed to fight like very well, to be honest.
Well, for starters, he has spells, but he has specific spells that aren't, believe it or not, Captain Falcon based.
Impossible.
I know it's hard to believe that, you know, the Middle-earthian wizard man doesn't actually take that much inspiration from a futuristic bounty hunter / Power Ranger. But yeah, it do be like that. No, he's just a interesting character. He you know, a lot of people kind of default to I think it's called like Dead Man's Volley from Ocarina of Time. He like shoots this big projectile that moves kind of slowly and people can hit it back at you, but like it'd be cool if you could do that. Like a projectile you can hit back but not like deflect back, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And you could actually volley it back and forth, and once someone gets hit by it, it does a lot of damage.
Sure.
You know, and of course it doesn't specifically have to be Ganondorf. Usually when I talk about more Zelda characters, the first one I bring up is just good old Ganon. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, a lot of people will be like, but Ganon's in Smash already. And it's like, no, that's Ganondorf. Ganon's the big pig with the fork.
I see.
Yeah.
Only recently did I realize that there was a distinction there, to be honest. But
yeah.
I finally understand.
Well, there's so many people who just call Ganondorf Ganon that I understand. Like if you aren't already familiar with the character.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like if you called Anakin Darth Vader or Vader Anakin. Like I suppose one is the other, but they're kind of mutually exclusive while being the same person.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I get you. But yeah,
So at least turning out kind of interesting, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I was going to mention so I'm kind of out of like dream picks for Smash. I don't really know who else I would want in if I had to. If someone like put a gun to my head, I'm trying to think of who I would say.
Think of one more character. You're hitting the bullet. I can't. Please don't do this.
I force you to name one more character.
Tell me who you want in Smash. Gosh.
Man, I don't know who I'd pick.
Oh, I know who I'd pick. When Smash Ultimate came out, I had a wish list of 3 characters, and 2 of them got in. So now it's time for the 3rd. I wanted King K. Rool, I wanted Ridley, and I wanted Ashley from WarioWare. And I got 2 of them, but not 3.
Yeah, so. It seems like she's a pretty popular pick in terms of someone who people say a lot. I would like someone else from WarioWare. Maybe Ashley. She does seem to be the most popular other character from WarioWare.
Yeah, WarioWare is a weird series because up until this most recent game, the characters, they were more just kind of mascots for the micro games you played. So it was hard to kind of get attached to a character. And if you did, it was just, I like this character. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I've seen, believe it or not, there's like little WarioWare or Wario communities, I guess, and it seems Ashley is kind of a love or hate character. Because the reason that so many people thought Ashley was a shoo-in, and by extension so many people supported Ashley, was because of just some really, it seems like they were really pushing for Ashley to be a thing, like being in Mario Maker and an assist trophy in Smash 4, and like the mascot of a gas station or something like that in Japan at one point.
Wow.
Just, kind of Smash Brothers-y stuff.
Yeah.
And like at least in Japan, seemed kind of like a popular character. And so a lot of people were like, well, naturally, Ashley's got to be in Smash Brothers. Just look at all this attention she's getting. And then it didn't happen. And we're just kind of like, okay, never mind. But but yeah, there Ashley wasn't like one of the original WarioWare characters. So there are people who like Mona and Jimmy T and 9V, and they're like, why does Ashley get all the attention? She's not even one of the OG WarioWare characters. And then you have people who are like, why does WarioWare in general get all the attention? What about Wario Land? And so it's there are people who just don't like Ashley for a number of reasons. Like too much attention takes away from the rest of the cast, not even a Wario Land thing. But I think at the same time, that's a very small side of the internet. I'm not saying, like I kind of get it. Like I'm a big WarioWare fan, I'm a big Ashley fan, but I understand there are characters other than Ashley, and I understand there are Wario games other than WarioWare. Sure. But I still like Ashley.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, my perspective would be just getting any more like WarioWare anything, or any more Wario anything would kind of be a win for Wario fans.
Yeah, I mean, I understand people who like get upset about, I wish Wario Land would get more recognition, because Wario Land is a very fun series that's completely different than WarioWare. WarioWare is like a micro game compilation. It has more in common with like Rhythm Heaven.
Yeah.
But which isn't a bad thing. Rhythm Heaven's great. But that's not like where Wario started. He used to be like a 2D platformer that was all about like getting as much money as you can and like bullying your opponents over just kind of jumping over them and stuff like that. Um, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then one day they just stopped making it.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, this makes me think. Have you tried the demo for the new game?
yes, I have.
I have not had a chance to yet. What do you think of it?
Oh, I knew I was gonna get that game already because the people who make WarioWare never disappoint. But well, for the most part they don't disappoint.
Yeah.
Typically, if they disappoint, it's because I don't know, they're using the WarioWare series as a tech demo for a failing console. But um, but this, I mean, it looked exciting and it is exciting, and I've put a lot of hours into the demo. And then I found out the game is $50 instead of 60. I was like, holy moly. Now I feel even more incentive to get it because even if WarioWare is like a simple concept for a game, the developers, the team behind it always cram as much content as they can into a WarioWare game. So it's definitely worth it. You should check out the demo.
Yeah. I've been meaning to, especially because it's kind of hard to find like split screen games to play with my brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Katie and Loose Cannon Hunter. I'm sorry I missed you guys coming in.
Oh, Katie and Hunter, what up?
Yeah, I recognize you folks from Ubu Stream.
I recognize you folks from Ubu Stream too.
What? You should have just pretended you didn't recognize them.
Who the heck are you people? I've never heard of Katie and Hunter in my life.
What?
And then the rooster crowed twice. Yeah. It's a Bible reference. Anyway, but yeah, you should definitely try out the demo.
Yeah,
it's epic.
I surely will sometime.
Try and beat my high score, everyone in the chat. I got to 51 on all-in-one mode the other day.
That the challenge has been issued. Huh?
Yeah. If someone beats my high score, I'll give you a virtual high five.
Wow.
And if you don't beat my score, that's okay. It's all right. I mean, I didn't. Kind of hard to top perfection, but you know, I'm willing to see y'all out.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. I'll certainly give it a shot. I've never been very good at like. This isn't exactly WarioWare isn't exactly a rhythm game, but it's kind of that way in terms of like.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to be like quick on your thumbs and your reflexes and stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, anyways, it's not the type of genre that I'm particularly good at, but that said, I will definitely give it a shot.
Yeah, it's not a rhythm game, but it does have that like you kind like I'm trying to like think of how to articulate this while coloring at the same time.
That's okay.
My brain's not good at doing two things at once. It's definitely got like almost like a memory game kind of feel. Like you know, you need to activate your brain in like the next 5 seconds and look at what's in front of you and think to yourself, what kind of story is this micro game trying to tell me?
You do have to think on your feet, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then there's a point where it's like, okay, well you've gotten the hang of like all these games. Now do them faster. Now do them more intricately, you know, stuff like that. So, very interesting, very fun. And I'm thrilled to bits because my favorite WarioWare, it's been like a tie between two. There's WarioWare Smooth Moves for the Wii, which was a lot of fun and like one of the two multiplayer mainline WarioWare games. But it was on the Wii. If you know anything about the Wii, as fun as the waggle controls were, they weren't exactly as responsive as you'd like. So there would be like mini games you're playing where you lose, not because you neglected to do what you were supposed to, but because the controller neglected to work properly.
Yeah, I can definitely... my experience with the Wii is I skipped it as a console, but my nephews have it, and so one time they were like, "Hey, do you want to play some Mario Kart?" and so my older brother was telling me he's never beaten them at Mario Kart, and I said, well, I'm not that great at Mario Kart, but I think I can beat some kids. I didn't realize it was the Wii Mario Kart, and you had to use the tilt controls.
Yeah.
So needless to say, I did not beat my nephew.
Yeah, I understand. I really hate that Wii wheel. Yeah, I used to go over to this kid's house for like my homeschool little routine every week. And after we were done with our classes, we would play Mario Kart Wii together. And it wasn't until like the last day of school that he told me, "Oh, you can use the GameCube controller, by the way." And I looked at him so like, like not mean-spirited, but furiously, just like, why didn't you tell me that before?
Yeah. Oh, also,
I could have beaten you all this time, probably.
Yep. That's top 10 anime betrayals right there.
Yeah, that's a really good way to like handicap someone's Mario Kart ability, is give them the Wii wheel and never tell them that there's an alternative.
Gotcha.
Especially if they're not used to the Wii wheel.
Right. Yeah, that was definitely me. But yeah, thank you for following, Chelsea. Yeah, just
hey, nice. And what up, Chelsea?
I realized I've drawn 2 kings now, so I think I should draw the 3rd.
I was going to say next you can draw a queen. So I guess, is there a queen on the rise? Palutena, I guess. Yeah, draw Palutena.
I could draw Palutena. Maybe I'll draw her.
I mean, if you want, it's your stream. You do whatever you want. But
I do love Palutena. I'll draw her after this one. Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep coloring Ridley. I'll take one for the team.
Nice.
He's got like some pink in his wings. I need to look up Ridley and see. That was one thing that was kind of interesting about Ridley, was like the neon pink. Let's see, Ridley. Let's spell it right. So I'll put an E in there. No, not Ridley Scott. Ridley Dragon.
Man, Bowser's mouth is so much different than you think it is until you go to draw it. It's a very strange shape, too.
Yeah. Isn't it like, let's see, like,
yeah, you kind of got it. It's those little down parts there, like almost like a cat-like expression.
Yeah.
So
it's like if you don't get all the little roundy parts perfect, it looks like his mouth is swollen.
Exactly. Right.
So I'm guessing they got the neon pink from like other M's design, which was an interesting Ridley design. It wasn't bad. It was a little busy.
I see. Gotcha.
Ridley's just supposed to look like a gargoyle or something, and they made him like ripped and like made his head skinnier, and it's really strange looking. Like he's basically supposed to be a skeleton, like a skeleton bat thing.
Huh. Hey, here's a question: how do you feel about the Super Mario RPG for the SNES?
I haven't played a lot of it, but I enjoy the thought of it because it's like the spiritual predecessor to Paper Mario, and I love Paper Mario.
Sure.
I have a friend who he doesn't really like. I always preface this because I just think it's interesting that a lot of big Smash speculation people want Geno in Smash Brothers, and my best friend also wants Geno in Smash Brothers, but he doesn't really follow anything like that. He just naturally wants Geno because he loves Super Mario RPG so much.
Sure.
I love the music. I've tried to play it, and it's not that like, but I couldn't get into it. It's just I got stuck at like a very early boss. So
to me, it's a weird part about that game is I feel like it's a game that So I replayed it recently because it was one of my favorite games growing up as a child, but I was so bad at games as a kid, and what happened was so I never made it very far, and like even if I loaded somebody else's save file, I didn't get that far.
I gotcha.
But anyways, I finally replayed it and beat it, It's
Oh.
I definitely recommend it. It was a lot of fun. But
Yeah.
But it is a game that has some pretty uneven difficulty. So like some of the hardest parts are like at the beginning, and then like if you just grind it like you would in an RPG, by the end it's not that bad. But yeah, it's a weirdly structured RPG, but it's a lot of fun.
I guess that's kind of the problem is I love RPGs theoretically, I just don't have a lot of time for them nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's see.
I used to play a lot more RPGs than I do nowadays. It's hard to both find the time and to keep the attention span, So,
yeah, like I picked up a couple, like when it initially came out, I got Octopath Traveler, and I thoroughly enjoyed what I played, but I didn't play much of it. And let's see, what color was I? This one? I guess we'll use this one again. But now it's like, as much as I'd love to return to it again, I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
Like I've got a channel and like a bunch of other stuff to keep afloat. And RPGs just take up so much time. There. Ashley!
Nice. Yeah,
I'll draw Ashley too.
Cool. Then I will color this Bowser while you do.
Okay. I finished Ridley, by the way. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, nice.
I might maybe I'll erase that awful Steve I drew to give me more space for Ashley.
Well, if you'd like to, I can start a new canvas. I mean, we've got this one pretty well filled.
No, it's fine. Well, let me zoom out and see how much space.
Because, yeah, we're running pretty low on space here.
Yeah. I mean, you do what you want.
Okay.
It's your canvas.
Let me save this one real quick, and we'll start a second one.
Okay. I only colored one character, but I wanted to go all out with Ridley.
Yeah. I gotcha. Alright, let's do save here. Alright, I've got that saved. And I'll
nice.
To start a new one, the best thing I know to do is just delete all the layers and remake them. So give me one.
Let's see. Chelsea said, I'm going to read through the chat real quick. Katie Bug said, never played Mario Kart on the Wii. Mario Kart on the Wii is pretty fun. It's not my favorite per se, but it is pretty epic. I do have a soft spot for 8 and Double Dash. 8 and Double Dash are my two favorites, and 7's in there somewhere too. If only they put in Waluigi. That was such a missed opportunity. Well, not even a missed opportunity. Just like, what the heck? Like, anyway.
Yeah, I'm still kind of amazed. All right, so let me ask you. I don't feel like I've asked yet.
Okay.
Who do you think is the final Smash DLC?
Oh man. The thing about Smash Brothers is I default to what I want, but that's probably not gonna happen. Like, thinking about it, in all the Smash DLC, the only characters I've actively wanted that happened were Banjo-Kazooie, a Fire Emblem Three Houses character, and yes, I was one of those 4 people, and to an extent, Minecraft Steve. But that was like it. I guess there was like a secret part of me that wanted Sephiroth, and I was happy with the concept of an ARMS character. And I was like neutral towards Dragon Quest, but like these weren't characters I was actively gunning for. Let's see. Let's look up WarioWare Ashley.
Yeah.
Get a refresher on what she looks like.
Because there's a part of me that says that Sakurai is going to go weird for this last one, and he's going to do Waluigi because it's going to be the last character.
I would be 110% okay with Waluigi.
Yeah, I mean, I've already got everybody I want regardless, and I do kind of like Waluigi, so go for it if they want to.
Yeah, I think Waluigi would be great. I love Waluigi. There's a part of me that wants to say like Crash Bandicoot, but that might just be wishful thinking, because even though I'm not a big fan of like third-party characters in Smash, there are a few that I'm like, I think they would work well with this franchise. And I it's funny to say that, because I'm sure people are like, Ubu, it's not like you make the franchise. It's not like you make Smash. I'm like, well, still. Like, Crash Bandicoot's just so goofy, was like created to be essentially a rival to Mario, so would fit in perfectly.
Yeah, true.
And also I just love Crash. So it's like, if we're gonna put in like non-Nintendo characters, at least have it be one that I like.
Yes. Well, after watching Crash on your channel quite a bit, he does seem to have a pretty good move set for Smash in terms of like.
Oh yeah.
You could do the spin, and now he's got all the masks and everything too. So there's all kinds of stuff that you can do.
That's always been one thing that's interesting. Like whenever Banjo-Kazooie wasn't announced, people would be like, "Oh, dude, I love the idea of Banjo-Kazooie," and there were people who were like, "But what would they do?" And it's like, have you ever played a Banjo-Kazooie game?
It's good. It turned out to have quite a few things you can do.
Yeah, like platformer characters. Well, first and foremost, if that's like your default position, is what would they do? Let's take a look at our good friend Captain Falcon for a second. In his native series, what does he do? Race. What else? Nothing.
Drives a car.
And yet he's got perfect attendance. Like, he hasn't had a new game in over a decade. He doesn't even do anything in his native series, but here he is. But also, yeah, like platformer characters, they're like made to be in Smash Brothers to some extent.
Yeah. Let's see, Chun-Li from Street Fighter. That'd be an interesting one.
I'm gonna go out on a leaf and say Chelsea.
Yeah, that's Chelsea.
Yeah.
But I like Chun-Li. Why not? Why not?
I'm okay with Chun-Li. Like, if for some reason we absolutely needed a third Street Fighter character, sure, go with Chun-Li. Chun-Li's fine. But,
yeah,
I don't want another Street Fighter character.
That's fair. If you're not a Street Fighter fan, then you probably don't.
I think the characters are interesting. It's just we've already got two, and I know one is a clone character, but we still got two. Let's see. I got to get these eyes right, so naturally I'll put some circles.
Gotcha.
There we go. But yeah, it's hard to guess because I never would have guessed Tekken guy, and yet here we are.
I mean, to be fair, as a fan of Tekken, I never would have guessed Tekken guy. Like, that was completely off my radar too. I think it's been they must keep those like picks for DLC inside some kind of vault or something. It's crazy how they've been able to surprise people.
Yeah, like I guess there was a part of me that like I remembered Sakurai talked about how he wanted to put Heihachi in like Wii U and 3DS and decided against it. Mm-hmm. But there's been so many characters he's quote unquote decided against and then put in that it's like that honestly should have been that was like the writing on the wall.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
back in the day, I played PlayStation All Stars, and Heihachi was actually in that one, so that always made me think Heihachi probably wasn't going to get into Smash.
I don't necessarily count like that against anyone. Like, well, you were in the other one, so you can't be in this one, because like, it's not like there's some sort of Smash Brothers Bible and it says if you were in PlayStation All Stars, then you can kiss Smash Brothers goodbye.
Thou shalt be in Smash.
Yeah. But that's the thing. There are a lot of people who have like these rules, and it's like, when did Sakurai ever say that though?
Yeah,
like, like with assist trophies, like, well, they were in the other one, or they're an assist trophy, so they can't upgrade them. Like, how are they going to make them look different? And it's like, well, probably give them a few dozen more polygons and the ability to change your costume if it really matters. And I don't know, probably whatever they did with Crom, because he's still Robin's final smash.
Yep.
But he's also playable.
That's
Big
true.
the cat for Smash. Chelsea. Amen.
Big the cat.
I'm fine with the second Sonic character. It just depends entirely on who it is.
I guess it has always surprised me a little bit that they didn't make like Shadow another character. Not that they they certainly don't have to, but like it always
No,
just
they have to.
it always seemed like they would.
Yeah, whenever Smash Ultimate was like being developed, I just kind of assumed that he would be an Echo Fighter. I didn't necessarily want him. I was like, I'm okay with that idea. But then he wasn't. I was like, okay, well,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's no big deal to me. Sorry if you wanted Shadow, but I didn't necessarily want him. I just didn't hate the idea of him.
Right.
Are there any characters that you don't want in Smash Brothers? I know people talk about who they do want. I seem to be the only one who talks about who they don't.
You've probably noticed it's hard to drag like a negative opinion out of me for whatever reason. so I have a hard time picking someone I really wouldn't want, but I mean like another Fire Emblem character would be kind of disappointing. But I say that, but even then, if they were to go off script, if they were to add somebody from Fire Emblem that's like an axe user or like something like that, then
like one of the dragon people.
Yeah,
I mean, I know we got one with Corrin, but
yeah,
they still gave him a sword.
Right. Yeah. So, anyways, there's ways they could make even that pretty interesting, but I really don't have too many like, no, don't add this guy type picks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've got plenty of those.
Yeah, I guess you're more invested in it than I am.
I mean, for starters, if the last DLC character was taking Bayonetta out of the game, I would be happy.
I see. Good gracious.
Huh?
I said, good gracious, Mewtwo's mouth is so hard to draw. Like, I cannot make it look right.
Yeah, Mewtwo's a weird looking thing.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I know a very popular choice nowadays that people throw around is Sora from Kingdom Hearts. I do not want Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
I guess you. I mean, I guess he is in a pretty huge franchise when you think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, I know Kingdom Hearts is a big deal, but it's Kingdom Hearts.
It's
like, it's somewhat... Sorry.
No, I was just saying it's pretty anime, so it's probably pretty against what you would want.
No, I mean, it's not that I don't like anime. Like I said, I was really excited about Sephiroth, and that's pretty dang anime looking.
That's true.
And I was excited about Byleth. Kingdom Hearts is so weird. Like, I grew up with it, and I loved it as a kid, but it's so weird.
I was actually saying recently, if somebody were to, to hold a gun to my head, I don't know why I'm going back to this so much. This true.
I'm trying to tell you all something. Please call the police.
Right. So anyways, if completely hypothetically, someone was holding a gun to my head, and they were to ask me to, like, make a Kingdom Hearts character from scratch, like, to make a character that doesn't offend the lore of Kingdom Hearts and fits in the universe, I would be dead. There's no way I could do it. I don't know the lore, and I can't. You could give me a couple of hours, and I still wouldn't know it. So.
To be fair, you could come up with anything, and it wouldn't offend the lore because they make up the lore as they go.
True.
That's why, like, every game has a completely new faction of enemies that never existed before, but now is the most important thing in the world.
Yeah, true. I guess. Chelsea says she doesn't like Duck Hunt Fighter, and she wants Gundam. I do like Gundam.
Oh, well, you, Ray, and Chelsea will have a lot of fun talking then. They love Gundam.
I see.
I love Duck Hunt. I mean, it's a Duck Hunt for crying out loud.
Yeah, I'm okay.
That's like saying you don't want Mario in. Like, I get it. Mario's pretty, milk toast, but it's Mario.
I see.
I guess one thing I take into consideration is like the significance of the character to Nintendo history, and Duck Hunt's stands out a lot. It's one of the reasons I like Rob as well. Even though, like, I guess Rob still shows up and stuff from time to time. Just like had 3 games in his own series back in the 80s, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Duck Hunt's cool. I like the NES characters that they put in. I wish they like rotated them instead of like Ice Climbers and Pit and Duck Hunt, like that, and Rob.
Yeah.
I know Pit's his own thing now because of Uprising, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, he was an NES character.
It's weird. I never noticed Mewtwo had this tube that runs from the back of his head into his back like that.
Oh, you didn't notice the second neck?
Yeah. No, I finally realized.
Yeah, Mewtwo's got a second neck.
Interesting.
I don't know what it does. I guess extra brain juice or something, but...
Probably. Extra brain juice.
How else is he going to lift stuff with his mind if he doesn't have a second neck? Why doesn't Alakazam have a second neck? He needs to support his big old head.
That's true. Huh. I guess that's why he's not in Smash. That's just the difference between the two.
Because his neck broke.
Right? Obviously.
He was walking to the Smash Brothers tryouts and his neck broke under the weight of his giant brain.
Unfortunate.
Rest in peace. Next collab, be holding a funeral for Alakazam.
Right. Unfortunate. Alright, let's see. Well, while I'm drawing a bunch of Pokemon, who else would be good to draw?
You mean specifically in Smash Brothers?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what other Pokemon are in Smash.
I was like, oh boy. Because
there's a lot of Pokemon in Smash.
Yeah. A lot of Pokemon in Smash, but they're all starters.
Yeah. Maybe I'll draw Incineroar. Incineroar would be good.
Sounds good. Okay. The big crown on her head is orange. I thought it was yellow. I was wrong. Yeah, that one thing I talk about a lot when I talk about like my Smash Brothers wish list are like the 3 big franchises that I wish would get like a massive overhaul as far as their characters go. And that's Zelda, Pokemon, and Fire Emblem.
Let's see.
Yeah, I like with Zelda. There's so many interesting Zelda characters, and they have 3 Links to Zeldas and a clone of Captain Falcon. I don't think it's a very good representation of one of their biggest franchises. And then on the flip side, well, not on the flip side, but like kind of a similar-ish problem with whatchamacallit with Pokemon. It's not it's just a bunch of it feels very corporate, like
True.
Back in the day you could even if like Pichu and Jigglypuff are like weird choices that over, I don't like, why not even like a hey, that's pretty awesome. It's just like, why is this Pokemon here? At least it wasn't just the starter of the most recent game now available in stores. But like, the water starter of X and Y, when like a couple months after X and Y came out, the fire starter of Sun and Moon, now available in the newest titles, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Please buy our game. It's just, it feels like Sakurai, he's like, I'd like to talk about a new Pokemon character, and without like paying attention to him, they're just like, here are the starters, pick one.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's like, these are the characters we would like to market.
Yeah, I definitely get you there. There's people always say nowadays that they feel like Kanto region is overrepresented or whatever, but the real hard part is being a fan of anybody who's not a starter as a Smash fan.
Exactly.
Because you've got just Mewtwo.
Like, I'm so sick of seeing Charizard everywhere, and I've never there are a couple starters that I like, but none of them are like my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
I'll concede that like Gen 7 had my favorite generation of starters generally, so I don't hate that Incineroar made it in. I just think within that generation there are much more interesting Pokemon to choose from. I mean, that's the generation that introduced like interdimensional beings as Pokemon, and you go with the Fire starter. Like, you had such an interesting choice, like little selection to choose from, and you just went with the Fire starter again.
Yeah. I guess. Well, I'm drawing him with an expression that's like, haha, I made it into Smash.
I mean, that kind of expression, that smugness fits Incineroar.
Yeah.
I don't hate Incineroar. It's just, it would have been cool to see like Buzzwole or Nihilego or something.
Sure. I get.
I mean, you can't disagree that like a creepy parasitic jellyfish with rock type moves for some reason wouldn't be an interesting pick for Smash Brothers.
You have a good point.
And then if you want to get like the anime fan vote, Buzzwole is just like a JoJo character, but a big mosquito. And everyone goes, "Oh my gosh, did someone say JoJo put him in Smash Brothers?"
I do like Buzzwole. I was very excited when they first showed off that appearance. I was like, all right, giant ripped bug. Let's go.
Buzzwole's interesting. All the Ultra Beasts are so interesting to me.
Yeah.
They were like the most interesting part of Gen 7 to me, as far as the Pokemon go.
Pretty interesting designs, for sure.
Yeah. I love the wacky Pokemon, but they aren't very marketable, I guess, so...
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, for me, my like criteria for whatever my favorite Pokemon is, I know this is weird after we just talked about Buzzwole, but my favorite Pokemon are just the cutest Pokemon.
I understand that.
The roundest, cutest Pokemon.
I mean, I'm kind of like that too. Like, my favorite Pokemon are like Goodra and Manaphy and Whimsicott.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, Whimsicott's actually my favorite Pokemon. Whimsicott is actually my favorite Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And now I remembered because you said it. But yeah, there are a few of like the cool Pokemon, I guess, that I like, but I do gravitate more towards like the cute ones.
Yeah.
I like how Goodra is like a wingless version of Dragonite with like cool colors instead of warm colors.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Manaphy's just adorable. And blue. I do have a thing for the color blue. I'm trying to think of cool Pokemon that I actually really like. I don't know. Like, I like a lot of ghost types, but a lot of them are more just like mischievous looking than cool per se.
I see. Yeah,
Cool.
There's some cool ghost Pokemon. I think with me, Duskull is probably my favorite like ghost Pokemon. But there's some other. I mean, there's a whole lot of good ghost Pokemon. Like Trevenant's pretty cool. All kinds of.
Yeah. My four favorite types, I would say, not because like my favorite Pokemon are from these types, but because they're so consistently good, is Psychic, Fairy, Dark, and Ghost.
Yeah.
And as far as Ghost goes, I really like Sableye. I really like Spiritomb. I like Banette. I like the Duskull line. Dusknoir is really cool. but like Spiritomb in particular,
Yeah.
it's like I wouldn't necessarily call him a cool Pokemon, but he's cool, but like not in a Garchomp kind of way. Like, oh man, look at that cool dragon, you know. It's just like, what an interesting concept. Just like like give the small child like a big ball of evil spirits. And somehow it ends up just like looking like a wacky Saturday morning cartoon villain or something.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chelsea said favorite Pokemon are Furret, Sylveon, and Jirachi. Those are solid choices.
I like Sylveon. I sort of feel like when they made the fairy type, like I was saying, all my favorite Pokemon are always the cutest ones. So it's like they shunted all of my favorite Pokemon into the fairy type. So it was kind of convenient because then it was just like, well, now I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, the favorite type.
Right.
You were like, finally, a type just for my favorite, cutest Pokemon, Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime, yeah. There we go. It is funny, though, because every time I mention, that I really like fairy Pokemon, they're like, you mean Mawile, right? I'm like, not quite. I'm thinking more like Clefairy and stuff.
Yeah. I like Jigglypuff, but I think part of that is just I'm so used to it being in Smash Brothers, and I think it's fun to play as every once in a while. Yeah. Not so much as a Pokemon. Yeah. But yeah, Fairy type is a really cool type. I guess I like Mawile. I don't really think of Mawile that much, especially considering its like counterpart is Sableye, who I really like. And
yeah, Sableye's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, Sableye do be pretty awesome. And it's kind of got that Hopkinsville Goblin thing going for it, and a little bit of that went into whatchamacallit, Ubu's design. So I don't know if people see it or not, but I was going for that.
Yeah, kind of think of it. Ashley there is actually pretty proportionally similar.
Let's see. And she's going to be saying something. What's she going to be saying? Let's go back to layer 5.
Time for an epic, funny Ashley J.
Yeah, exactly. Please put me in Smash. Epic Ashley joke, am I right?
Yeah. Let's see. Chelsea said, my favorite series of Gundam Wing. What's your favorite series of Gundam? Well, let's see. Gundam Wing is actually where I started with Gundam. And my favorite Gundam series, that's tough. It's probably either Iron-Blooded Orphans or Zeta Gundam, one of those two. But I like almost all the series. I watch them all. Let's see. What would be another good Smash character? I've kind of there's more Pokemon I could draw, but I don't really want to draw another Pokemon. I think I'm gonna try.
Just draw the entire lineup.
No, I think I'll switch and maybe do maybe Donkey Kong. Let's do it.
Oh, you can't have Ashley without Wario, except for the times that they do that. So I'll draw Wario.
Gotcha. Let's see. As for Donkey Kong, I know it's funny. Whenever I play Smash, I've never been any good with Donkey Kong, but I have to play Donkey Kong at least once every session because it's just so much fun.
There are characters like that. It's just like, I like to play as this character. Sue me.
Yeah, right.
As time's gone on, Jigglypuff was kind of like that for me.
I see.
I used to be pretty decent with Jigglypuff, but I guess once I started dedicating more time to other characters.
Sure. I get you. So I see you've been playing Sword and Shield recently on your channel. Shoot, I think Sword and Shield is kind of the game where I realized that I probably need to stop buying Pokemon games. Just because before I could really even make like a good judgment on it, I got distracted by another game, and then I just couldn't get back. Like all my friends were already done playing it at that point, and so I just don't think I have the attention span for a Pokemon game, unfortunately. But
if you're gonna dedicate time to an RPG, do it for one that isn't catering towards 4-year-olds.
I see it.
Pokemon Sword it's fun to play because I don't like it.
I see.
I bought it to play with my best friend. He was like, "Please buy this game so I have someone to play with." I was like, "Fine." And we put a lot of time into it. It's like one of my top 5 most played games. And like 3 of those games, keep in mind, are Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, and CTR. So it's really like, there's like the inevitable 3, and then Breath of the Wild, and then Pokemon.
I see.
So I'm surprised I got that much mileage out of it because I don't like it.
I see.
But yeah, once he stopped playing, I stopped playing, like just immediately.
I see.
But then I was like, I feel like it would be interesting to play on stream a game that I like. There are elements to it that are fun, but it just doesn't do it, like, ultimately. And so yeah, like initially I did it just kind of as a standalone series, and then once Splat started coming on every Sunday, I just kind of incorporated it into that. And so like she and I just talk while I'm biking around doing max raids. She's getting mad because I'm not furthering the story. I'm like, you don't understand. I don't have time to stop and listen to Sonya and Hop for 80 minutes. And then they give me a max revive as thank you for, 80 max revives because I listened to them talk. Like, ugh. Anyway, yeah. But,
Gotcha.
I know kind of an inflammatory opinion, who'da thunk from Ubu. But,
no, I think that's probably a pretty common opinion for, as far as Sword and Smash goes, at least listening to my friends talk about Sword and Shield.
Well, there's so many people who still liked it and are like, it's a fine game. Why do you feel that way? And it's like, it's awful. Because I've got to get all hyperbolic about it for the funnies. But yeah, there are people who genuinely love it, and I'm like, I'm happy that you can, that you can see the diamond in the middle of this actual turd.
Gotcha.
But I don't know if I'm going to spring for like any more Pokemon games for a while. Just because I get it now. They're going to be like, whoa, this is the biggest new Pokemon game, but it really is just the same one, but we took out a bunch of things you liked about the old ones. It's like, okay, well then I won't play it. I see what you're doing here.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
The last time I was really into Pokemon, I guess, was, I can't remember, what was it, X or Y? They added Pokemon Amiye, so like now not only could I have my cute Pokemon, but I could pet my cute Pokemon, and I was like, this is all I've ever wanted from a Pokemon game.
Yeah, they were like, isn't this such a cool feature, being able to interact with your Pokemon? What if we, and it was like, please don't do it. Took it away. Why did you do this? Yeah. So like, this is the closest I've ever been to actually being able to appreciate the world you've built, and of course you had to take it from me yet again.
Correct. So anyways, every Pokemon game after X and Y, I think I just did a little bit less. Like, with the next one, I got with Pokemon X, I think I got through the Elite Four, and that's where I ended. Then with Sun and Moon, I was still enjoying myself, but I didn't ever actually beat the game.
Oh.
And then with this latest one, I didn't even make here's how bad I was. I didn't make it to the first gym, before I stopped.
Goodness.
It was terrible. I mean, it's not that the
$60 well spent.
Right, exactly. That's when I kind of told myself, I think I'd probably better stop buying Pokemon games. It was rough.
Yeah, you didn't get your money's worth out of it, it seems. Unless you just, I spent so much time in the wild area, I couldn't get to the first gym. But I'm guessing that's not what you're saying.
I became one with nature. No, not so much, unfortunately.
Yeah, I put a lot of hours into X and Y, but that was because that was the game where I started shiny hunting.
Oh yeah.
And then Sun and Moon, not so much. I didn't really like the implementation of shiny hunting in that game. It wasn't quite as, I don't know. There was just something about it. They keep changing things up with the way that you play the game. At first they're like the horde battles and the in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire there was the little Poke Radar and stuff. And then they took all that out in Sun and Moon. Dude, I'm really happy this dog is barking in the background.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I don't hear him personally.
Okay, good.
Probably.
I can hear him. It's distracting.
I got you.
Are you sure you can't hear him? He is howling.
I might hear a little bit. If we're both quiet, I think I hear him a little bit.
Let me go tell him to shush. I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, that's no problem. Go for it. If you guys weren't here earlier, Ubu did a nice, very rotund Eggman too, and his Wario is reminding me a little bit of that once again. Let's see. I rage battling the Elite Four with their infinite full restore motions. Oh no, I can definitely see what you mean there. It always amazed me that you get to the Elite Four and it's like, all right, here's our special ability. We know how to use items.
What were you talking about?
I was just talking with Chelsea there. I was saying that it's funny. You get to the Elite Four and they're like, this is my special ability. I know how to use items. And that's why they're...
It's funny.
I always thought it was a little amusing.
Yeah.
That's what it takes to be a Pokemon master, apparently.
Yeah, that's one thing that's funny is the entire game is just so simple. And then there might be the little gauntlet thing where it's well, now that you're the champion, you can fight other trainers in a little gauntlet deal. And those are the ones who actually know how to strategize in any sort of way. It's where was this 5-year-old when I was aiming to be the champion? Why are they here at the super tower?
Right, why are they not the champion of all Pokemon?
Yeah, why aren't they the champion?
Yeah. It is funny the way they stack it like that.
Yeah, it's don't make me feel like I'm the best trainer in the world and then have all these actual preschoolers come up and just whoop me.
Yes, right. Oh boy.
Wario's coming along nicely.
Ah, yes. Perfect. It is really funny to me, though, when you draw these, really detailed heads, and then you draw, a big ball for the body. It's really funny. I appreciate that. Funnily enough, I think Palutena is the one character I'm drawing so far that I've hidden the body so much that we won't get to see any of.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
I wanted to see what you came up with.
I should do it just a big ball.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
Epic.
Yeah, I don't mean to brag. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but that's a pretty epic reference.
Mm-hmm. Ah, yes.
There we go. All right, what do Wario's bright pink pants look like? Like that, huh? Okay. Let's see, he's got himself a belt. Hold up those poor pants. He's got little legs.
Little tiny legs.
Little tiny legs.
Oh man. Man, Wario eating his bike is the craziest thing in
it's
Smash.
so weird.
With everything they've had.
It's not even like a Wario thing to do to eat your bike. They made him so weird in this game.
Yes.
Like my favorite Wario Land scene, the one where he gets out of his car and eats it. And then does a weird little, like, 2 frames per second scoot along the ground.
Right. Exactly. All that stuff you remember Wario from. My fondest Wario memory is playing Wario on the Game Boy Advance. I always forget which one it was.
Wario Land 4?
Probably. It's the one where you
can
turn
he like goes to the pyramid.
Yeah, you can turn into like a zombie and into like all that stuff.
Wario Land 4 is great.
I did enjoy that game. I remember playing it in the park of all places, back when I actually used the on-the-go function of my handheld system. Fun stuff.
Yeah, it's funny because even though the Switch, like, one part of its claim to fame is like, now you can play home console releases handheld. Cool. I'm never going to do that, but cool.
There's a couple of games that I've really enjoyed playing in the handheld mode, although I just play them sitting on the couch. For instance, it's so weird, you wouldn't think it, but the online game Paladins is like a shooter. And if I'm going to play it on the Switch, I pretty much have to play it in handheld mode. It just feels like something about it gives me more control.
Interesting.
You wouldn't think so, but I prefer to play it that way instead of a controller.
Well,
Chelsea says Wario's gonna fart. That's the scariest
He is going to fart.
The scariest part about Wario is you never know when that fart's coming.
Unless you're like me, and then it doesn't even matter because you're not going to time it well. I don't think I've ever landed a fart like playing against you.
Really? That's surprising.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. Now that you mention it.
You know, the characters with like the big moves, like the cheap moves, I guess, like Jigglypuff with rest and Little Mac with the special punch and Wario with the fart. I'm kind of good at landing sleep, but Wario waft not really.
Gotcha. It's a tough one, especially because I guess you have that limited period you can do it in. Well, now you have to wait for the thing to build up. But then also you're kind of like glowing at that point, so the opponent, if they're paying attention, is going to be like, let's not be too risky right now.
Yeah, so that's part of the fun, is like guessing what they're guessing you'll do.
Yeah.
Like, I have people who automatically assume the next move I'll do is the fart, and then at the end of the day, I don't use it. Like, I either unceremoniously get killed before that can happen, or I just win without using it because I couldn't find a good place to fit it in.
Sure, I see.
Alright, then we'll do a little bit of navy blue. Like over here. Is this a good color? Yeah, that's a good color.
One bad thing about me and Drawpile is I definitely have a tendency to use up like 75% of the canvas. So,
yeah, I noticed that.
I don't know why, but I just always make huge drawings.
Yeah. On the flip side, I just pick a corner and draw very slowly. So.
Well, when we get down to it, we can start another canvas once you're finished.
All right. If that is what you would like to do, then we shall do.
Sure. All right. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I got to the place where I realized that, for me personally, my drawings were coming out better if I used a giant canvas. And my problem is now I can't stop doing that on like Drawpile too. I bring these guests on and I'm like, all right, here, have your tiny little corner, and I'm gonna use the entire rest of the canvas.
Yeah, I kind of got like that too. I realized, oh, it doesn't look as choppy and weird and gross if I make the canvas big. But uh, at the same time, I still draw where I just kind of shove whatever I'm doing into a corner. And so I have to like do the little lasso thing and make it big artificially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's why I'm still just drawing up here in the corner like this.
I see.
All right, now we'll color his jacket. You can keep taking up as much space as you want. I'm just going to be coloring this in.
Yeah, I got you. Let's see. Well then, who else shall I fill the canvas with?
If you want, you can draw Joker, because if I do, I'm just going to make it like a...
Let's see.
It'll be a very not so passive aggressive drawing.
Gotcha. Let's see. Okay, so Birdmouse was asking how large the maximum canvas size can go. That's a good question. I think I've got it on something like 4,000 by 4,000 right now. I don't know how high Drawpiles goes though. Man, when I draw in like a canvas on Clip Studio Paint though, sometimes I'm talking about like, I'll go like 8,000 or like 10,000 or something. It sounds bizarre, but it's just like the bigger I make it, the more confidence I seem to have in it. It's crazy.
Yeah, there are a couple of projects I had to work with like really small canvases, and seeing my typical line work on them, it looks disgusting.
I see. Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like the brushes I normally use, I get pretty pixely if I use them down at like a smaller canvas size. So.
Yeah, I tend to do like really thick lines, so those smaller canvases, it shows.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that's weird about big canvases is like the bigger the canvas gets, the thinner the line appears, and I feel like that's a pretty defining factor of my art, or like the thick lines.
Yeah, I got you. I usually like to do some thick lines myself. Maybe not quite as thick, but I think if I get really narrow, I just have a hard time not making it look a little shaky. So yeah,
I gotcha.
For whatever reason.
For no particular reason, I'm making Wario's teeth green.
He's just been eating a lot of garlic.
Yeah, of course.
This is what too much garlic does to you.
I don't understand. Like, it's not like he's a terribly hygienic individual, but he's got some nice pearly whites in Smash Brothers.
What if they're dentures?
That'd be sad.
That would be sad. but they do have that straight look to them.
Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah, for someone who like presumably doesn't take that good a care of himself, he's got some good teeth there.
That's true. Nice set of jumpers.
It is interesting because like he kind of cares about his appearance, but kind of also doesn't at all. It's weird. Like he cares about his chiseled bod, but neglects the the rotundness aspect of it.
Right.
But I don't know. Whatever he's doing must be working, because he's like, what is it like? You can't kill him. There's like an instruction. I think it's Wario Land 4. He explains that he can't die because he doesn't want to. So he must be doing something right.
Right. Yeah. So the secret to immortality is garlic and bikes. You just have to eat those two things.
And not wanting to die.
Right. That's it.
That's the problem. Is whenever people are in a position where they could die, they're like, please. Kill me. Right?
Yeah. You just have to want life enough.
Yeah.
This is a guy that's enjoying life to the fullest.
Yeah, everyone needs to be more like Wario.
Right.
Not only will you live, but you'll thrive while you're here.
Right, surviving and thriving.
Yeah. He doesn't merely exist, he's having the time of his life.
Exactly.
Alright, what color are his goggles?
Think about it this way. Have you ever seen Wario frown before?
Maybe, I don't know. It's kind of got that weird fixed smile.
Right?
That slasher smile.
And now we know why. He's so high on life.
Yeah, it's not him just with like a locked jaw. That's him loving life.
Right. Exactly.
He's got some brown hair. No, wait, that's not his hair. His hair's like right there. What are the strap colors? Orange. Orange, you glad I color the straps?
We all are.
Good. Because I did it. I did it for y'all. And his gloves are the same color as his little bike hat deal. I think they call it a helmet.
Yeah. There's one. It's funny when I think back to old WarioWare. There's one thing that is stuck in my mind, and that is the pizza dinosaur theme.
Oh.
I don't know why, but I could almost sing it, but not quite. I could get pretty close.
Cool. Yeah. There are a few catchy songs in the WarioWare series, but there's also some of them are like in another language, Japanese. So in another language, I wonder what language that could be.
One can only imagine.
Yeah, and so it's just one of those songs where you just kind of go, like I don't know what they're saying. It's catchy though.
Yep. Man, I would like to. So I've got a karaoke coming up tomorrow.
Oh.
And I was going to mention, one thing me being the weeb that I am, I always want to sing Japanese songs for it, but I'm still not at a place where I can do that at any level. So
yeah, it's like learning a new song is hard enough as it is. Learning a new song in a language you don't speak is even harder.
Yes, true. So probably going to be more boomer karaoke. That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. It's your stream. You sing all the boomer songs you want.
For sure.
Alright, and I guess his shoes are kind of the same color as his shirt.
I guess it is kind of funny. It's almost like they looked at Wario and they're like, well, he's dressed like a motorcyclist. I guess he's motorcycle themed.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I don't think they added the motorcycle until like Smooth Moves. So they just dressed him like this for no particular reason. It's weird. And because it's WarioWare, the bike doesn't even have that much of like an impact on anything. They're just like, there, he did something. Let's put that in the moveset and we can call it a reference.
Exactly. Nice.
They should have had him like drive his car from Wario Land 4. Run people over while he's got like his hand sticking out the side. He's just chilling. That's the thing about Wario. As weird as he is, he's like I don't know. He's almost like his own weird take on like an action star or something.
That's true. He's very mobile, very pretty tough guy too in some ways.
Yeah, he's like the Mario World equivalent of a tough guy. Like right down to the snazzy car that he loves to drive with the top down recklessly.
I just love how they've made so much weird Wario lore at this point. Like, you go back and like look at his appearance in Mario Party, for instance, and just how his oh my god scream and stuff like that. It's just like he doesn't fit with anybody else.
He's great. I love Wario. I wish it's true just how weird it is that like all this bizarre lore for this man who just doesn't care.
Right. Chelsea's asking me to sing the Gundam Wing theme song at my karaoke, and I don't know if I can. It's so hard to sing. Maybe I'll try it. I'll give it a little try.
Well, she says it's a Gundam fan thing to do, so she's
Yeah.
calling you out.
It really is. It's a fun song. It's a very fun song to listen to. I just don't have faith in my Are you? If you're done coloring your Wario, I'll save it up.
There.
No. Poor Ashley. Or maybe he's saying no to Joker, who's asking him to take his time.
Yeah.
That's also possible.
It's universal.
Right?
He's saying no to Ashley, saying no to Joker. He doesn't have time for edgy characters.
Right.
He's too busy being Wario.
Alright, so I have saved this canvas. So normally I do these for about 2 hours to 2 hours and 30 minutes. You want to go a little bit longer and do one more canvas?
Yeah, we can do one more canvas.
Okay, sure. Then I will delete.
Eventually, I gotta go eat something.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We're at about an hour 45 now, so we won't be too much longer.
Okay.
Let's see.
Chat, do y'all have any preferences on who I draw next?
Oh, good idea. Yeah, if there's anybody chat wants, we could cater to them for a bit.
Chat, tell me who you want me to draw, and I'll make sure not to draw that character.
We'll play good cop, bad cop. Ubu will draw whoever the opposite of that character is. Best bromances. Best bromances. Let's see. Who was a good bro character? Mario Brothers.
A good bro? Well, I already drew Wario.
Well, Chelsea wants Gundam, and I don't think you want to draw Gundams. I'll try to draw.
Oh, my favorite Smash Brothers character, Gundam. Here, I'll draw Gundam real quick.
Gundam, let's see. What does Gundam look like? I tell you, my brother can draw some Gundams, but I am not. I'm not too good at like the geometric shapes, but I'll give it a shot. Let's see what we got here. Something like this.
There, I drew a Gundam.
Nice. He's even got that trademark whoosh sound with the sword. Good job.
My favorite Smash Brothers character, a Gundam.
Right.
You're welcome, Chelsea. Just for you. That'll be $10. Alright, I'll draw Mr. Game & Watch. Best bromance character, I guess.
Go for it. Man, I love Mr. Game & Watch, to be honest. He's a lot of fun to play.
No, I love Mr. Game & Watch. He was like my favorite as a kid. I was so enamored. I was like, what is this creature? Who is this?
Yeah. He's just it's fun to use his sausage flip, and to take a gamble on the keys is always fun.
Yeah, I'm not that good at like playing as him. I just love that he's here.
I got you. Alright, I'm trying to draw Gundam, but whenever I try to draw something like really geometric like this, I have a tendency to make a lot of mistakes. Yeah. Please be gentle.
Happens to the best of us.
Gotcha. That sounds like fun. Well, whenever I watch anime, I watch it with a meal. So, usually that means I'll watch it with dinner.
Nothing like a little black butler and some pork rind.
There you
some pork chops.
Right.
And a nice red sauce to go with it. Gets me in the mood for One Piece.
Nice.
I'll draw. How about? Did anyone in the chat say? Let's see if anyone wants me to draw something else.
Sure.
I drew a bromance for Bird Moz. There's Mr. Game & Watch and his bacon.
And yeah, I'm also on Ubu's Discord. I don't I'm probably not as talkative as you would think. Just because I have so many different Discords I'm a part of. But
yeah.
But it's still a fun Discord to look at sometimes.
I'm the same way. I'm a part of a bunch of different Discords, but it's hard to post on them because I'm too busy trying to like moderate mine. Not
Yeah.
moderate it, like there's just all these crazy people or anything, but
To watch it and like
just work on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Improve it. I'll draw Simon Belmont. The least well, not the least Ubu character I can think of, otherwise I would have drawn Joker.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Or Bayonetta. But I figure if I'm going to draw a character that doesn't appeal to me in any way, shape, or form, at least have it be the vampire killer guy.
Right. He's another. Well, let's see. I really love Super Castlevania 4, but that's like the only Castlevania game I'm particularly attached to. But my brother plays all of them. He plays like all the DS ones, all the. He goes back and plays the other ones on SNES that he missed originally. So he's a big Castlevania fan. He was very happy about Simon Belmont's inclusion.
I was happy with it, but more of like if we're going like in the same vein as Mega Man, like, you know, this is a classic NES character. That would be really cool to see. But I don't particularly have any attachment to Castlevania in general.
I got you. Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah, but I was fine with him, you know. Like one of the few third-party characters, I was like, yeah, okay, do that.
Sure.
This does not look like Simon Belmont at all. I'm starting over.
That's it.
He's got like a weird duck face going on.
Take your time.
No, I have to speed run Simon Belmont.
Speed run?
Yeah.
That's what we're all about here is speed.
We like a little Lightning McQueen here. We are speed.
Right.
Alright, let's see. There, that's better. That looks more stern.
Yeah.
He says, have you been reading your Bible recently? I would assume he's religious, being a vampire hunter and all.
And I got you, Chelsea. I'll still be, at Ubu streams, and I'll pop into the Discord when I can.
Yeah, AIM's a mod for me.
Yeah. Although, again, that's something I don't do as much as
technically
we would like. but sometimes I do. The side of things.
It do be like that. I feel bad that I can't mod for Abigail as much as I used to.
Yeah, I got you. Man, I feel like that picture of Abigail I did for her birthday was the first time I've drawn anything that took me less than 2 hours. I don't know why. But it's, if I ever sit down, it's like I can either do a sketch that takes 15 minutes or I can spend 2 hours on whatever I'm trying.
Yeah.
I just have to pick.
Yeah, it was the first time I drawn like fan art for it feels like an eternity.
Yeah,
I typically am just drawing my own stuff.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
I guess thinking about it, even when I do draw fan art, it's like of a stream I was a part of, so it's not really fan art.
I see what you're saying. There's nothing wrong with that kind of like. Sometimes you have to just draw for utility too. I mean, if you've got a ton of stuff you have to draw, it's kind of hard to just take a break from that and do fan art instead.
Yeah. All right, let's scroll down. I don't know why the mouse is so weird.
I see. Of course, before I really got into VTubing, I was drawing fan art like crazy. Nowadays, I still draw a little bit, but not as much as I had been, just because I have to divide it between, well, sometimes I need to draw myself too. Branding and all that. So.
Yeah, I understand completely. I should have. The thing that stinks is when I was drawing fan art for people, it was as Cabbage Head. So now, and then I became Ubu, and now like all the people I drew for, unless they, like Abigail or Old Lady Katie followed that transition over to like the Ubu character, they don't for all they know, cabbage, like, I just stopped existing. Like,
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that feeling for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I've throughout my internet life, I have jumped communities so many times, and very many times I wish I could just kind of like go back and say, "Hey guys, can we all be interested in my new hobby?"
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I've kind of tried that, and every once in a while there's someone who's like, "Oh, you're still alive? Okay, cool." But for the most part, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate truth of it. Yeah.
They're like, "No, I followed you for like the comic stuff, not VTubing."
Right.
It's like, okay, fine.
Yeah. What can you do? You can't force people to.
No, you can.
It is what it is. Wait, you say you can? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try that for now.
Yeah, you're just not doing it right.
Right. That'll be my goal from now on.
Good. I drew a tiny thumb, a little baby thumb on this grown man. Yeah, it's no good. Yeah, whatever.
Who's to say whether it's good or bad? He can have baby thumbs if we want him to.
Simon Belmont usually doesn't have baby thumbs.
Okay, fine. Give him some man thumbs.
This is my OC, Simon Belmont with baby thumbs.
Nice job.
He's from Castlevania Multiverse number 274, the baby thumb universe. All right.
Sweet.
He's got some little things on his arms here. And he's got like a decorative leather thing on his chest. You know, the leather thing.
Right. All that baby thumb Simon Belmont stuff.
Yeah. And it's got like some cool designs on it.
Well, I gotta say, I was not sure how this Gundam was gonna go, and he is not looking too shabby. He's looking pretty okay.
Nice. I'll have to look in a second. There. He's wearing a badge that says "I hate vampires."
That does seem like something he'd wear.
That does seem like a position he would take.
We can't fully understand his position on vampires, but this seems likely.
Something tells me.
Right. Hopefully we're not slandering Simon Belmont here, but
well, it's written, so it's libel.
Right.
Not happy with the legs. Let's try that again.
Let's see. Man, I tell you, when I first played Simon Belmont, and I got off the side of the ledge with Simon Belmont, it was like an experience. It was like, life is not fair for this man. So then, later I learned you can use the whip to recover a bit, but it took when I first had that first time experience, I was just like, this guy has it rough.
Yeah, pretty lame uppercut deal.
Unfortunately.
Simon Belmont.
He's looking, perfectly captured.
Sure.
I don't think he's looked this good since Captain N and the N Masters.
Thanks. I really appreciate that equivalence.
Oh, boy.
Okay, I know who I'll draw next. Also, let me get some coins for the AIM stream, or I'm sorry, inner strength, burning inner strength.
There you go.
It's not mere inner strength.
And actually, if you tuned in for it, I'm not sure if you did or not. There was a lecture in the past where I talked about Kaneko Man, and one of my favorite manga series. And so when it came time to name my points, I was trying to think of just like a good name for fire that you collect. And I was like, well, I can actually kind of make this a callback to Kaneko Man at the same time. So, Burning Inner Strength is kind of like the measure of Kaneko Man's power up. Like he gets it to when he needs that boost to be the bad guy. So I figured that'll be my channel points too.
Cool. Yeah, that's a nice little shout out.
Yeah.
Mine isn't quite so personal.
I guess.
I just mine are just bacon points, which
hey, I mean most people would rather have bacon points.
yeah.
You know?
It was like it's kind of on brand with the vague pig theme of Ubu, and I wanted it to be an alliteration, so instead of points, it's points.
I see. Gotcha. Okay, well I think I've got a good enough Gundam here. Let's see what else I can draw. Does anybody else have a Smash character that you want to see that is not already on here?
Don't ask for Isabelle. I'm taking care of it.
Nice. I love Isabelle. One of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I'm happy Isabelle's in Smash.
Let's see. Well, if I don't have anyone taking, then I will think of let's see, who's another good Gundam character? Oh, not Gundam character, Smash character.
Who's another good Gundam character? Drawing out another robot.
Yeah, because I don't think just adding Gundam to Smash would be enough. They need to add 2 Gundam characters.
Could you please add every Gundam to Smash, please?
Right.
You know how they put in all the Koopalings for Mario Kart? Could you do that, but with Smash Brothers and Gundam?
There we go. Since you mentioned the Koopalings, perhaps I'll draw Baby Bowser. Would be a fun character to draw. Let's draw him next.
Nice.
I might have talked. I feel like I talked to you about this before, but there was that funny thing where Baby Bowser was just way overpowered in one of the tennis games, and so like the online scene was entirely Baby Bowser and nobody else.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. Anyways, he's making his comeback now.
Oh gosh. I didn't play a lot of Mario Tennis Aces. I was excited for it, but like really the only thing I was excited for was being able to play as Chain Chomp. Everything else was just kind of like, eh.
Yeah. Did you play the newest Mario Golf?
I haven't. Money's been a little tight, and
yeah.
I didn't know how I would feel about it. Like, I'm going to spring for WarioWare because I know it'll be like one of my favorite games ever. And I'm going to spring for Metroid because I know it'll be one of my favorite games ever. But Mario Golf, it's like, I'd love to try it, just not right now.
Yeah.
Later.
I haven't played it either, but I do have a friend who's a big fan of the Mario Golf games, especially the Camelot ones. And so they were pretty happy with that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the Mario sports games are, when they're done well, they're interesting. But I mean I say that as if it's not that hard to do. I don't think. I just kind of get the idea that maybe the funding has slowed down over the years or something, and with each one where they just like neglect some of the things people love so much about the old ones, they get less funding, and it just kind of, it's like an uphill battle more and more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Mario sports games are generally a fun time.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Man, I noticed they added online to the latest Mario Party game, which it definitely should have had that all along, but it does make it a good bit more appetizing. It almost made me kind of miss the old days where I used to play Mario Party with people.
I'm cautiously optimistic about the new one. I haven't been a fan of Mario Party for the past few years. Once Hudson Soft got bought by Konami, they gave the series to a development team that really hasn't done a whole lot. And what they have done isn't, I don't know.
That high profile or like...
Yeah, like the highest profile, like they made the last... I want to say they worked on one of like the Game Boy Advance F-Zeros, and that was fine. And they made Wii Party, but I don't know anyone who played that, so I don't even know if it's good or not.
Man, this guy has some tiny little horns.
Who?
This baby Bowser has tiny little horns, like so tiny that I'd forgotten he even had them.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, is there anything I'm missing with Isabel? A couple pockets. We'll do some pockets.
It's a pretty good looking Isabel.
Thank you. All right. Unless did I really was I drawing on layer 5? I guess we're about to find out.
If you're not, what I can do is rearrange it so that one of the other layers is under that one. Then you could cut.
Yeah, I think I was drawing on layer 1.
Okay, what I'll do then is I'm going to take layer 1. I'm going to put it up here just below layer 5. So if you draw on layer 4, you should be able to color with it.
Nice. Thank you.
All right.
So now we're going to color Isabel.
Cool. I really like the old Yoshi's Island game. It's always one of those games you can go back and revisit any number of times.
Oh yeah. It every once in a while on the channel there's just kind of like a recurring meme or something, and recently anytime Splat and I collab, we inevitably get the like level select theme from Yoshi's Island stuck in our head.
Yeah. I know the one you're talking about. Sure.
I don't know why specifically that song, but it do be like that. Let's see, is this the color we need? Yeah, this is the color we need, I guess.
Anyways, thankfully I drew Baby Bowser at his appropriate size, which is as large as the Gunda.
Yeah, of course.
This is him after magic. Kamek uses his wand and turns him into Josh.
This is just him on a Tuesday. Nothing special.
Right. Exactly.
Bowser Jr. is actually like as tall as Mario, just like naturally with nothing happening to him.
Oh, really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Bit of interesting Bowser Jr. lore there.
Oh yeah, fun fact. You can always expect those from Ubu.
For sure.
Okay. And then there's like that really bright cream color for her mouth and tail.
All right. So let's see. Hey, Ulmer. Good to see you.
Hello.
Let's see. You're gonna have to explain that one to me, Chelsea. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's see what she's saying. Oh, the puber meme. Okay. One time when Aspen and I were starting our Paper Mario playthrough, my voice cracked as it is wont to do, and Chelsea said that I was going through puber, and obviously she meant puberty, but she neglected one of the syllables, and Aspen and I thought it was the funniest thing because it sounds so disgusting.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
And so now whenever my voice cracks, we say I'm going through puber, and it's not just a meme on my channel either. Aspen says it too.
I see. It's proliferated to other channels by this point.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
It transcends mere Ubu memes.
I see. Let's see. If you're gonna draw Isabel, then I'll draw a villager.
No, her nose isn't green. Why have I done this?
I remember being really excited when they added villager. That actually I'd completely forgotten, but that was another one of those picks where I was like, it would be really cool if they added this person, and then that very generation they added it. So.
Yeah, I thought nothing of Animal Crossing. Like, I talked about how their characters where Sakurai's like, I can't add this character for this reason, and then the next game they add them anyway.
Yeah.
Villager's one of those characters. There was a Nintendo Power interview where he talked about how, Animal Crossing is too peaceful of a series, so he couldn't add them. I think in the same interview he also mentioned I can't think of a way to incorporate Mii's, so I'm probably not going to do that either. And then both of those characters in the same game got put in, like in Wii U and 3DS.
Right. He's a tricky guy, the Sakurai.
Yeah. He like it's funny how many characters he obviously, when he's talking about that, he's not saying that character will never happen. He is essentially stealthily saying, I want to put this character in. I'm going to go back to the drawing board next time and see if I can find a way to fit them in.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, that, like, during Wii U and 3DS, he talked about, like, yes, I'm aware that there are people who want Ridley, but he's too big. And so, a lot, like myself included, a lot of people were like, well, I guess I can give up on that dream. And then the next game, they put Ridley in.
Yeah.
Like, I guess he really wasn't that big, huh?
not as big as he first looked.
5 more minutes to think about it.
Right. Well, that makes me wonder. I wonder what the future of Smash is going to be after they finally finish this game. It's one of those series where it's hard to think of like what they do next. I don't know.
I mean, I can only guesstimate. Like, oops, sorry, bumped the mic. I like, I obviously I don't have any idea that, other than like what y'all can come up with. I'm not like special in any way, but in my head, I think get rid of there's so much fat to trim on the roster. Get rid of all that, polish up the characters you do have. Like with every new character they add, it's like this huge labor of love for that series. And then you look at like Samus, and it's like, I don't feel like I'm playing as a Metroid character. I feel like I'm so slow. It's like, so maybe go back to the drawing board for like Samus and Wario and Link, and add some, like, revamp these movesets, but also add, since you don't need to work on, I'm not going to throw names out there because then people will go, but that's my favorite character. But yeah, since you don't have to work on bringing back the excess fat characters, work on, like I said, it's at this point it'll be 6 games and we still don't have Ganon and Dixie Kong. Add characters like that. Just like these first party staple characters like Waluigi and Dixie Kong and Ganon and Ashley. Maybe like Skull Kid and a Fire Emblem character that isn't a blue-haired swordsman. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I get you. So yeah, I guess there's still some room if they were to take a break from kind of doing the everyone is here thing, and instead just maybe like try to, I don't know, come up with a new roster from the base up. It would be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there are a lot of people who talk about, there isn't really anyone you can add. They've added everyone. It's like, are you sure? Like, at what? Let's look at the roster real quick. Okay, the original 12. At what point was Ness like, oh yeah, put Ness in? Absolutely. Like, we think, and this is coming from an Earthbound fan. I love Earthbound.
Sure.
The reason we that mother representation is such a necessity is because Ness has perfect attendance. It's not because Earthbound is just this massive powerhouse of a series. It's because it has a big fan base and Ness has been here since day one.
Yeah, I get you.
So like, even from the beginning, it's not like they've been exclusively putting in like the AAA characters.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, even when F-Zero was still a thing, it wasn't that big of a thing.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it was relatively popular, but not enough to be one of the original 12.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. And I think at this point, I mean, with some of the characters they've chosen for this one, they've almost thrown out any rule book that it seemed like there was anyways.
Yeah, like, apply the lack of logic from this game to the willingness to add obscure Nintendo characters from like yesteryear, and I mean, I'm not going to act like they don't do that anymore. I mean, with this game, I mean, they added an Arms character. Arms isn't terribly popular, and then they added, Duck Hunt and Little Mac, and Shulk. Shulk, like, Xenoblade sells well, but when Shulk was like the main character, they were like, fans were fighting to get that over here. It almost wasn't localized.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't even localize it. They just used the British dub. But anyhow, yeah, like there's so many interesting Nintendo characters that if they wanted to, they could like give the spotlight.
True. Yeah, man. Every time I go to draw Kirby, I always have such a hard time drawing him compared to what you would think. It's just like ball. He's just
Kirby's
a ball.
Deceptively complex for such a simple character.
Right. It's really easy to make him look a lot wronger than you would think he would.
Yeah. Yeah, that's typically how I feel. I'm like, I know this is supposed to be Kirby, but there's something off about it.
Right. Something other.
Yeah. This Kirby is impure somehow.
Right. Yeah. That's a pretty good piranha plant that you got going.
Thank you.
Once you got your piranha plant, what I might do is go ahead and save the canvas, since I know you're probably getting hungry, and we're almost at like
yeah, my stomach's growling.
No problem at all. Let's see. Man, piranha plant was pretty much the ultimate weird announcement that you couldn't see coming.
Yeah.
What a strange game.
Piranha Plant's a lot of fun to play as, but as far as like including him, it's just like, I don't know. At least it could have been PD Piranha. Like, you delegated PD Piranha to the final Smash for this thing. It's sad. Like, PD Piranha was a character I actually wanted back in the day. I kind of gave up on him, but then they added him as a final Smash.
Gotcha. Did he make it into anything besides? Was he? I know he was in Super Mario Sunshine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was he in any other games beyond that?
Oh yeah. I want to say he was one of the bosses in New Super Mario Brothers. I think he was in one of the Mario and Luigi games as a boss. I think they made him a boss in one of the newer Paper Mario games. He was in Double Dash.
Oh right, I do remember that.
He was, for a while there was like a brief period of time when he was like in all the sports spin-offs that were coming out. So he was in Double Dash, he was in Mario Power Tennis, he was in Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, he was in...
Dang.
I don't know if he was in the original Mario Superstar Baseball, but I know for a fact he was in Mario Super Sluggers. And then they brought him back for Mario Tennis Aces.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and, I mean, he was a boss in Brawl.
Oh yeah. So
I typically don't count that as like an appearance, though. It's like it's because, as like, if we're talking about therefore they should be in Smash, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, Sheik has been in so many games: Super Smash Brothers Melee, Super Smash Brothers Brawl. It's like, but how many games has Sheik been in other than Smash Brothers games? Oh, 2. And one of them was Hyrule Warriors.
Gotcha.
Let's see. But yeah, PD Piranha's like, you could tell they kind of tried to push him as like a new mainline Mario character and then just gave up.
Gotcha.
They're like, never mind, no more PD.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. I'd love to play as PD Piranha in Mario Party or something.
He points out that PD Piranha was also a doctor in that Dr. Mario mobile game.
Oh, well, to be fair, they probably made a cardboard box of playable character.
There was like a baby Doctor Princess Peach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, It was so sad when they announced that. I had the gall to assume they might bring back some Wario Land characters because Dr. Mario 64 was, in a lot of ways, it was kind of like a Wario Land spinoff. Like all the characters were from Wario Land. And I was like, dude, they could like, I guess at the very least manipulate people's nostalgia and bring back Wario Land characters. And then they were like, we're adding Dr. Yoshi, and it's like, oh, we're doing this. Okay. Like where the big announcement is that the new Doctor is 3 Goombas stacked on top of each other. Like, whoa, that's so cool.
what everyone was clamoring for.
Yeah. It's like even when they're getting wacky, it's still kind of sterile.
Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and save this canvas up. This will be our fourth canvas. And that way, we can transition into getting you some lunch.
Oh, yeah. I love lunch.
All right. Let's see. So I've saved this canvas. Before we go, though, do you have any streams coming up that you want to play?
Oh, sure. Tomorrow, Splat and I will be doing our Splat Sunday stream over on my channel, where we'll probably play more Pokemon Sword, complain about Pokemon, and just talk, shoot the breeze like we usually do, make jokes. This week, like Monday through Friday, I'm taking a bit of a break to work on some other projects, but then Saturday I'll be coming back for an art donation stream. So if you donate to the Streamlabs page, I'll draw you something on stream.
Nice.
And that's over at the Twitch channel that you plugged. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I have a very bad habit of not plugging my guest's Twitch channel until like the very end when I finally remember. But anyways, yeah, I assume you guys are following Ubu, but if you're not, definitely go check that out.
Yeah. I assume you're following me, right?
right. Exactly. So to talk about, I guess, my streams coming up, I've got karaoke tomorrow. No special event. It's just I like to do one karaoke a month just because I like to do karaoke. And, then after that, I'm taking a break from Monday to Friday because I'm going to be away from my computer. And then the week after that, I don't know if I actually have another Drawpile set up for the weekend after that. I might just have to take that weekend off. So that's just kind of my break week, but I'll be back in the swing of things after that.
Nice. Sounds fun.
Alrighty. And as one last order of business, do you have somebody who you would like to raid?
Let's see. We could raid... Sleepy Ghost TV is playing Banjo-Tooie if you want to raid her.
Well, that sounds fun. I'm not sure if I've ever raided them before, so this will be a learning experience. Well, I'm not sure if I've ever watched them before, so this will be a learning experience for me as well.
Okay.
But that sounds good to me. Give me 1 second, and I'll queue it up.
All right.
And again, I thank you for being here. It's been a lot of fun, and you're someone who draws a lot. Anyways, this is second nature to you by now, aren't you?
Oh, I don't get the chance to draw Smash Brothers characters very often, or really generally to go to other people's channels. I don't. So I appreciate you asking me to come on. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here.
You ever want to do it again, I'm down.
Yeah, I get you. I'll probably I've been thinking about getting back together with some of the people who did my first ones in the near future, so I'll try to. And yeah, I'm very glad you were here as well, Chelsea. It's been fun to have you.
Yeah, thank y'all for coming. It's been a lot of fun rambling about Smash Brothers. Anyone who knows anything about me knows I could do that forever.
Right.
But drawing some epic pictures, some Gundams for some reason.
Right. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start the raid. Thanks again for being here, everybody, and stick around for Sleepy Ghost's channel.
Yo.
And have a wonderful weekend.
Bye, everyone.